Okay, let's talk about horizontal lines. In the last example, we were just talking about horizontal lines, and I was mentioning that if you wanted to graph something that didn't have an x, it only said y equals a number, this would actually be a horizontal line. It would have a y-intercept, and the y-intercept would be 0, comma b, whatever number there is there. Because if I plug in x as 0, there's no place to plug a number in. Right? You actually have, another way of thinking about this is you have y equals 0 times x plus 6. So if I go 0 times 0, that's 0, plus 6 is 6. 0, 6 is going to be the y-intercept. Okay? And then if we made a table of values like we did on the last page, you would notice that it doesn't matter what x is, y is always going to be 6 all along that horizontal line. That's going to be really helpful to memorize that. And then this idea of slope, well, we haven't really talked about what slope is yet, but sneak preview, slope is rise over run. So here we're saying we have no rise. We have 0 rise, and we might have like, I don't know, it doesn't matter, an infinite number of run. Okay, so let's say 5 run or 8 run. The whole point is that you're running constantly, but you're not rising at all. So 0 divided by any number is 0. If you think about, I have $0 and I'm going to divide it up between all of you, 0 divided by 13 or 12 or whatever the number is, how much do you each get if I split up all my zeros with you? Nothing, exactly. That was very generous of me, wasn't it? Right? So 0 divided by a number is 0, and that's where we get this idea of slope. We're going to talk about slope in the next coming sections. It's the idea of slope is rise over run. What's the domain of y equals 6? Think back about domain. What did we say domain was? X values. What x values are we having here? We're actually going from down here, this arrow starts at negative infinity, and x goes to positive infinity. So you could say x has all real numbers. That's the same thing, interval notation and set builder notation. X is all real numbers. What's the range here? What y values? Range stands for y values. What are the y values? Yeah, just 6. So y such that y equals 6 would be one way of saying that. Pretty much, I don't know how you would do that in interval notation. Starts at 6, ends at 6. I don't know if that's correct. I've never seen that before, but I just made it up based on what our intervals have been, you know. Okay, is the relation y equals 6 a function? Now again, if we come back to the idea of a table of values, if I have x values and y values, I could have -1, -2, 0, 1, 2, and it's irritating me that I keep making my table out of order, but whatever. The y is always 6. So does this table look like it's a function or not? Do you remember about functions in the last section? Yes, it is a function, right? Because it also passes the vertical line test. And we were talking about the vertical line test where x is always repeating. Now, the opposite of a horizontal line is a vertical line. So a vertical line is always going to be in the form x equals a number is a vertical line. The horizontal intercept, meaning the x-intercept, is always going to be that number coupled with 0. Because what you're going to find is vertical lines are parallel to the vertical axis, which I was just saying in the last section, x equals 0 is the equation of the y-axis. All along the y-axis, all the x-coordinates are 0. So x equals 4, what is that going to look like? You're going to have a vertical line that goes through where x equals 4. And if I create a table of values, here I have 4, 0. That's my my horizontal intercept, or my x-intercept. Horizontal intercept is also known as the x-intercept. Here, this point is 4, 6. This point down here is negative 6, 6. Oops. Sorry, 4, negative 6. I'm messing it up now. 4, negative 6. So all along, all of these points on this line, an infinite number of points, they all have one thing in common, and that is that the x value is what? 4, right? The x value is 4. So every time you have x equals a number, you have a vertical line. We call this slope undefined. And the reason why is because if you were going to say, what's the rise over the run, the rise is infinite. So from here to here, I might rise 4, or let's say we rise 12. But how much did we run? And what's anything divided by 0? Any number divided by 0 is called undefined. Okay, what's the domain of x equals 4? I think it looks better to do it this way. X is only equal to 4, right? I think it's weird to have an interval where you start and stop at the same number. State the range. What's the range of x equals 4? Here we might have from negative infinity to positive infinity, right? Because we could say y such that y is a real number, or is all real numbers. Now, is x equals 4 a function? No, it's not a function. And why would you say it's not a function? Yeah, exactly. So this x equals 4 is not just 2 timing. We say it's infinite timing, right? Because x equals 4 is partnered with every single value of y that's possible. Yeah. Okay. Any questions on that?